in both factored form and expanded form. So factored form looks like this. It looks like 2 times the length of this whole side, which is 4 plus 10. And if I was doing that, I would simply take 2 times 14, and I would get 28. That's one way of doing it. Now I want to look at it in expanded form. Expanded form is when I take 2, so this is my expanded form. Let's change color here. So expanded form, okay, is going to be in red. And that's where I'm going to take 2 times 4 plus 2 times 10. I am still going to get that same answer, 8 plus 20. I still get 28. It's just doing it a different way, okay? So what I was looking for with each one of these is for one way to be with the parentheses inside where you're adding. That is our factored form, okay, because that's what we had to do in number 5. That's factored. And then the other way we were looking at it is called the, this would be expanded, factored form. And then the expanded would be when we take the number times the first one plus number times the second one. That's our expanded form, okay? So down here when it says do it in factored form, just so you know, as I look at this second one of number 5, if I'm looking at that, I could have factored out a -7, and I had other people factor out only a 7. Is it wrong, whichever way you do it? No, but if you factor out a 7, this is going to be a -1x, and this will be a -5. And if you factor out a -7, it's just going to be a 1x or an x, and then it's going to be a +5. So both ways work for the factored form, okay? When you look down here, so I have -7x plus 7. If I was going to simplify this one, -10x plus 3x, that would give me -7x plus 7. So far, these two are the same. If I use the distributive property, this one comes out to be 7 minus 7x. Is that the same as these two? Yeah, it's just written in a different order. Could I rewrite it and put -7x plus 7? Then it looks the same, right? So it says which one is not the same, and if we look at this one comes out to be 7x plus 7. So it says explain why. Because the 7 is positive here, and all the rest of them have a coefficient of -7, something along that line, okay? If you did not finish this, I am looking for you to get this done for tonight. Yes?
Okay, for the last one, did you actually, because I didn't write any words for my explanation, I just showed my look on how I got it.
So if you were in like Mr. Pauly's class or history or in English and you just said, look, they just know that that's your explain. Just use words from now on. When it says explain, just say this is what's different. Yes, Lucas.
Why is there an SS there?
I don't know. It was something when they copied the word. Something to confuse you. All right, so if we look on the back, so that was question 6. If we want to think of this as 7, this might be 7A, B, C, right? This might be D, E, F. I would look at one more on the back here, 3 on the front. Would that be this one on the front that someone was asking about? Should we do this one? Yes, no, are you okay? What do we have to do? This one down here? Yes, this one. This is an ugly one, isn't it? Let's do this one. Maddie.
Can we also do A? 7E.
7E? Yeah. Let's choose one of these. And 7E, let's do 7E, and then I'll give you a hint on starting now. So if I was doing 7E, first off, you got a lot of white space down below here. You might want to do this one a little further down. First thing I would do is go through the whole problem and change subtraction to adding the opposite. So make that a plus -8x, make this a plus negative, and I put a 1 in there, and plus -9. When I do that, that will help you to not make as many errors, okay? So I would rewrite the problem as 5. I'm going to have plus -8 times 1. And then I'm going to have plus negative 8, and that was times a negative 1x. That was using that distributive property. And then I have the plus negative 9x. So I'm simplifying. 5 plus negative 8. Negative times a negative is positive 8x. And then this is plus a negative 9x. So now I'm adding my like terms. Well, my like terms, I do have two constants that are like. And then I have 8x and a negative 9x, which when I add those gives me a negative 1x plus negative 3. Could I have negative 1x minus 3? Same answer. Could I have negative x minus 3? All of these answers I would take as being the correct answer. Okay? Usually we want to put our coefficients, our variables first, then the numbers. What if you had this answer, negative 3 minus x? I would give you credit for that also. Okay? So looking at the letter F up here, I would do that same thing, would be my hint to you. I would change these to plus a negative, because you're taking negative 6 times these two negatives. That should make both of those positive. Then you have this plus negative 2. Okay? Now, this quiz we're going to take soon. It's on the translating phrases. But before we do that, I want to hand out a couple of papers to you. On Thursday, because we don't have school Friday. So, when you are looking at this, you are looking at writing these out, okay? And as we do these, you're writing these different models. So this is very similar to what your quiz will look like. We've talked about terms, like terms, coefficient, constant, simplified expression. We've done the distributive property. We have done problems where you have to simplify by adding like terms, right? This is what we did in the first lesson. Write the equation. When you look at number 9 and it says write a verbal model, all that means, Gavin, I need you to turn to the front, is that means just write it out in words. The algebraic model, this is where you are using your variables, okay? All that means for the algebraic model is I want you to use variables and write it. So it's like putting in x minus 7 or x plus 4, okay? So that worksheet, I want you to just make sure that is very similar to your quiz. So if you're trying to get ready for the quiz to do well, you want to make sure you look at this. I would like you to turn to the other worksheet right now. It's a bunch of distributive properties, right? As you look at this, I need you to do, listen, I need you to do 2 of the columns going down. I don't care which 2 you choose. So you're going to do maybe the 1 through 11, and then you might do 13 to 23. I don't care. Choose 2. Okay? Choose 2 columns. That means 2 of them going all the way down to all the problems in it. I wouldn't maybe cross out the other ones, because if some of you don't do great on that quiz, I'm going to be having you practice and do more of these. Only 2 columns. Please turn it over. This is what your quiz looks like today. This is writing the algebraic expressions, okay? So, my suggestion when you do this side, it says 5 more than 2 times a number. So if I am looking at that, I might put right out in front what number goes with that. So 5 more than 2 times a number. Well, 2 times a number, I know already it's going to be one of these 2, right? That's 2 times the number. And if it's 5 more, it should be for F number 19. Which means down below, where I have 19, I'm going to put F. Now, these ones over here are the ones that get a little tougher, right? And the reason that they get a little harder is if you look at letter G, it says 8 times the sum of a number and 3. When you see the word sum, where the addition sign is right where that word and is. So this says the sum of a number and 3. This is like the number and 3, n plus 3. That's what that means. And it says 8 times that. So if we are looking, that's going to be this number 15. It is not going to be 8x plus 3, right? That's different. So letter G is 15. So yes, when you finish your quiz today, you want to do this side of the worksheet first, okay? Do this, get the joke. If it doesn't make words, you made a mistake in the letters you chose, okay? And then you're going to do the 2 columns on this side. This has to be done for tomorrow, okay? Practicing distributive property and this sheet. You must have this done tomorrow. When should you have this sheet done? And you're going to have to press the period to work, okay? When should you have this done? This must be done by Thursday. I would like to answer questions on, this just doesn't make sense to me tomorrow in class. Because we're going to hand this in Thursday. We're going to hand this sheet in tomorrow, okay? So, we are going to take a homework quiz in just a minute. What are you working on today? First, you want to do this side, get the joke. Next, you're doing 2 columns. If you get all of that done after your homework quiz, you would start on this. Jake.
Since there's